You are watching the vidEOS podcast with myself, the cryptopickle, and my co-host Cody from KVR. This is episode 2 with Everipedia. Hope you guys enjoy. Here with Dave from Everipedia. Thanks for coming on. This is
Thanks for having me.
no problem. So for those who aren't familiar, can you just give a quick background on what Everipedia is?
Yeah, so I like to think of Everipedia as the ultimate platform for bringing knowledge on chain in all different kinds of forms. When Everipedia first started, it wasn't even a crypto project. It was an alternative encyclopedia that I think supplemented Wikipedia really well. And I like to consider it as the up and coming wiki and culture. So we cover topics such as current events, artists, memes, journalists, you name it, and kind of evolving on this mission of knowledge. Um, Around 2017, that's when we saw crypto and blockchain really taking off, and we were thinking like, oh, how can we best use this emerging technology to our advantage to make a truly next generation encyclopedia? So that's when we started exploring it. We realized it was feasible, and then we raised money in 2018 to build on EOS, a blockchain encyclopedia, and that's what we did. So we have editors from all over the world. We have over 6 million pages, and I like to think of Everipedia as user generated knowledge. And so when we were looking to expand a little bit more, saying like what else can we do, we saw an opportunity with prediction markets. We're built on EOS, so we didn't see any prediction markets on EOS. There was great promise with it on Ethereum, but it didn't entirely pan out. Um, so we decided that we're going to build one. So we built Predict, which is we like to frame it as a knowledge market, and users can create markets, bet on market, participate in markets, and also resolve markets, all with the IQ token. So that's really been taking off, especially with the election, coming around. We've been really seeing an increase in volume on there, and most recently, so we had Everipedia, which is user generated past knowledge. We have the prediction market, which is really future knowledge, people using the knowledge they already have. But there's also a third realm of knowledge from verified organizations, top tier organizations. So a lot of companies, they have all this data, they have APIs, but they really don't have a way, or nor have they tried of getting it into a blockchain readable form. The only company that I've seen that's actually done it is Coinbase. If you go on Coinbase's website, they have they have their API available for that's actually cryptographically signed for smart contracts to utilize. But there really isn't a service out there that lets organizations do that. So what we have built at Everipedia is our Everipedia Oracle product, which is kind of a Oracle as a service where top tier companies can plug into and have their API sign, cryptographically their data for smart contracts to utilize, and any organization can use it. And so we announced our first big partner 2 weeks ago, which is the Associated Press, and they will be signing their data for the race calls for the upcoming election for smart contracts to utilize. And so that's kind of like our overview of Everipedia and what we've been doing to this point.
Yeah, I just saw that AP tweet. I was going to mention that,
Yeah,
but I'm glad you brought it up.
yeah, yeah. That was some big news a few weeks ago, and so we're really excited about that and bringing them on.
Also, the Chainlink and Bigger protocol. Partners. Have you? What about those?
Yes, yeah. So Chainlink is the infrastructure that we'll be using, to sign, you know, that's the infrastructure that we're using. So we're really excited to be using them in this process. They've been a name since 2017. They've been building a whole system around price feeds, and this is the first time we'll be expanding outside of price feeds into something major such as the elections. And Bigger, we're really excited about. They came to us. They really want to include us on their platform. It makes sense. IQ is probably next to EOS the most liquid token on the EOS blockchain. It's available on Binance, Upbit, and it made sense. So of course, we want to increase the utility of the IQ token. So we're like, of course, like let's do this. And so we announced, IQ being available as collateral for borrowing, for lending, for for people to earn interest. And within like the first hour, over 10 million IQ was deposited, and it keeps going up. I think right now it's at 40 million IQ has been deposited.
Dang.
So the Vigor community has been super excited about it, and we're super excited as well.
So you guys definitely, I feel like, have gathered a lot of interest from people outside of EOS. I feel like
Yeah,
in the EOS community, it's kind of one of those things where everybody is really excited inside the EOS community, but sometimes it feels sort of like we're walled off. Can you talk a little bit about why you guys think you guys have been so successful in attracting users?
yeah. I think one thing is, one thing we've always been about at Everipedia is not just building blockchain products, but just building great products. And so I think that really attracts people not out just outside of EOS, but outside of crypto. Everipedia has over millions of unique users a month that visit the platform, all the time. And we've really been able to build up a community of editors around the world. We've really focused on, user friendliness. Anybody can sign up for Everpedia. Anybody can edit. All you need is an email account or Facebook. So we make it as easy as possible for users to both read the site and use the platform in different ways. Also, I think it's kind of the way we brand ourselves. We just want to we we really just want we really just want to build great products for people to use.
For somebody that's like unfamiliar with blockchain, can you explain why transparency is like so important?
Yeah, I feel like in the world that we live in, a lot of the information is opaque. A lot of the entities that we rely on a daily basis, the rules are unclear. Um, you know, I feel a big problem with social media now is censorship. You could say something, you could share a link, and it could be just struck down without any rhyme or reason, and you won't be able to get an explanation. There's no courts that you can bring it to. It's actually quite a monarchical system. So I think the importance of blockchain is transparency and there being an actual record of what's going on, and people can make their own conclusions of why something is happening based on what is on this transparent record.
So, blockchain, for anybody who really understands blockchain, there's a lot of benefits that comes with it, such as transparency, such as security, things of that nature. I think the common problem I have when explaining blockchain to people outside of crypto is the idea of tokens. I still feel like um, the idea of tokens and incentivization is sometimes lost on people. Can you explain a little bit about how the IQ token functions and makes the system more efficient?
Yeah, of course. So the IQ token fundamentally is the utility token of Everpedia and the whole IQ network. And I like to think of it as people's skin in the game for Everpedia. So how it works is, in order to make an edit, people have to have IQ tokens. And so they submit their IQ tokens when they make an edit. And then through a democratic process, when an edit is submitted, people vote whether to approve or reject an edit. If an edit's approved, then the editor and the people who voted for it receive IQ tokens that are newly minted. If it's rejected, then those tokens are locked for a period of time. So it's really encourages good faith contributions, and we've been live for over 2 years. There's so many. Think about all the blockchain, projects that are out there that barely have something going or even haven't released a project yet. Like, no, we've been live for 2 years, and we've developed a community over those 2 years to use that. And on top of that, the IQ tokens utility has expanded since the beginning, whether it's for predict, which is I explained earlier, or being used in DeFi protocols such as Vigor. So there's a lot of things that we can that is used with the IQ token.
When it comes to predict, what would you say if somebody was trying to argue with you that they just said like prediction markets and like DeFi is all just gambling? Do you have like a rebuttal for that?
Yeah, I'd say prediction markets are quite educational and are even better at judging the sentiment of events than standard polling. We saw that there's a number of academic papers out there that cite this.
So of course we are an EOS podcast. Uh,
Yeah.
is it just the tech that made you choose EOS or anything specific?
There's a few things. Actually, EOS just makes sense for us. Um, we are an encyclopedia, so this would not work on Ethereum where you would have to pay a fee every time you made an edit. We've seen Wikipedia competitors on Ethereum that have failed because of that, and so it made sense for us to be on EOS. We've received a lot of support both from the community and from VCs early on. It was from that support that really, sold us onto EOS. And I feel like the EOS community is really still behind us. They're really excited about everything that we're doing at Everipedia, and so it's really encouraging to see.
For sure. I just saw Dan Lammer's tweet. Did you see that?
Oh, it's just now.
It was like maybe a day or two ago.
Oh yeah, when he mentions Predict, yeah, he loves Predict.
It's pretty sweet.
So Everipedia, like you said, is definitely something that I've been excited about, and I think a lot of people inside EOS especially have been especially excited about. As the community continues to grow, what's a particular direction that you would like to see the community move in, or maybe a specific partnership that you think would be greatly beneficial to Everipedia?
I think it's continuing what we're doing with AP and copying that with other organizations. So we have this Oracle as a Service platform that can take any arbitrary data and any arbitrary API and turn it into cryptographically signable information. So I would love to see other organizations get on board. Maybe ESPN, maybe Reuters, maybe the Washington Post. Any organization, maybe even governmental organizations. Like why not some UN or UN associated NGOs? Why not any of those type of organizations so they can have their information cryptographically signed? I mean, this is something that's gonna be happening, and as the world's data becomes more on chain, major organizations are gonna think about how they can get their data on chain in the easiest way possible. So I think continuing in that direction is the ideal way to go.
Yeah, I just saw Mike Novogratz in one of his videos. He was like, "The time is almost here where a bunch of these big tech companies are going to start buying these crypto companies that have just been building for the past like several years. We're like almost at that tipping point."
Yeah, I think I heard rumors of BitGo being being acquired by PayPal potentially,
Yeah,
and I'm sure PayPal's buying a bunch of organizations.
Sure they are. I'm sure a lot of people are right now.
Yeah.
Just after coronavirus and all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
More of a personal question: how do you feel about the EOS community right now? There's been a little bit of a, I don't know. I feel like everyone's just like so negative right now.
I think it's healthy, for people to be critical. But I think it's time for us to realize that we're all in this together. We can't blame anyone but ourselves with kind of the state of what's going on, and so we just have to keep being behind the projects out there that are building. The projects like us at Everipedia, like Vigor, like all. There's a bunch of projects out there. I think this is not a sprint; it's a marathon, and we've only been 2 years into it. So there's still a lot of time. I think there's a lot of ways that we can improve the EOS chain and make it more user friendly, so more people are able to use it. And also, if we can keep keep interoperability going. I love what DApp is doing, and Liquid Dapps, what they're doing with that. Just keep on building and keep on staying positive.
So obviously you're a big blockchain supporter. I know they also call you DeFi Dave.
Yeah.
So for somebody who is new to crypto, who's interested, but they look at it as a very multifaceted thing that it is, what would be your basic pitch that they should focus on in order to really gain the most out of this space?
It's just really hard. I feel like crypto's just getting harder and harder to explain as time goes on, and as it gets more and more advanced. That's the one thing I noticed. I felt a lot easier to explain crypto in 2017 and 2018 when it was just Bitcoin and Ethereum than it is now with all these DeFi products and DeFi protocols. But I would say if I were to start off with trying to get somebody familiar with crypto, I would try to get them to think about like what our current money system is and how to conceptualize that and how we kind of live in this like world and like the sea of the dollar, and then using that as kind of the baseline, present them with Bitcoin and how it's an alternative, and then just keep adding layers to that. And it's like, okay, Bitcoin is magic internet money. It's, value is interchanged with that. Now, if we take it a level up, we have Ethereum, which is, it's the same as Bitcoin and how it's structured, as a blockchain, but it has another layer being the world computer, and then another layer up is, oh, what dApps can you build? And it's these DeFi dApps, and then it keeps on. You have to keep building up, and it's you're not going to explain it to one person overnight. They have to do it themselves, and it takes a while for them not only to like learn it and get used to it, but most importantly get comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the space, and I feel like I still can't even keep up.
It just moves so fast.
Right. Kind of tying off that, do you think like collaboration is going to move the whole space forward as a whole, or do you think like there's going to be a couple winners?
Yeah, collaboration I think is necessary. Whether it's like on the same chain or across chains for things to be successful. That just seems logical to me because you can't. I don't think anybody can do it alone. It takes it takes the right partnerships at the right time. With Everipedia and ourselves, we've been able to do that. We're building with AD, we're building with Chainlink, we've built with Brave. I really love our partnership with Brave. We've been almost going a year strong with our Brave Creator of the Day. The Brave community really appreciates it because they get to discover new creators to support. We really appreciate it because we get to expose our content to a new community and show them what's possible with Everipedia. And this is across chain. And I think I've always been kind of crypto agnostic with my chains. With like my preferences, I prefer not to be tribal, even though that is human nature. So I try to look at things from an unbiased perspective and saying like what makes sense from an objective stance.
Yeah, I think I love this quote that Andreas Antonopoulos always brings up. He said, "One network, many chains," and I feel like that's the direction we're headed.
Yeah, I think that's already existing now.
Right.
You even see Bitcoin being with P tokens on EOS or like WBTC on Ethereum. Like we're all going to just be interconnected. It's just a matter of how and who's going to be the glue, keeping us all together.
Right. I'm excited for the user experience to get better. I think that's going to bring a lot more people in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I feel like that's been lagging behind just because people have been working on the tech and kind of the back end infrastructure of it, and it's quite similar to the early internet. People really cared about. It took a while for the user interface of the internet to appear and for people to get comfortable with it, and then it just kind of happened really quick where everybody was just on the internet, and I feel like it's just going to happen really quick where everybody's just using cryptocurrency but not realizing it.
Right. So if I was brand new to crypto and I wanted to use Everipedia, would I just download Scatter? Is that the first thing they should do, or?
Oh, got my water bottle, but you don't even have to download Scatter. You can literally just sign up with your Facebook or email. We have our EPID system, so you can sign up. You get some IQ tokens to start, and you can just start editing. So it's quite a simple process.
So you talked about regulation a little bit in the beginning of the video. I kind of wanted to circle back around to that. Do you think there's any sort of regulation that you see coming that could potentially be beneficial or maybe hinder crypto adoption? Obviously, I know nobody really knows, but I was just wondering, as somebody who's building in the space, if there's anything you feel that you can talk about.
Yeah, I feel like the regulators are learning, and they're getting used to it. Like obviously, the technology moves first, and then kind of the law adjusts and to what's happening. I see a lot of promising things that have happened recently. Whether it's banks being allowed to custody crypto and custody stablecoins, that's a huge development. Whether the commissioner of the SEC is literally called Crypto Mom, and so I think it will take a lot us I think it would take a push into Congress to like really get things going. I feel like things are kind of I feel like we're kind of lagging behind Asia a bit because in Asia I feel like they're already ahead and they're being proactive in how to define cryptocurrencies. Here we're the only state that is really taking the steps to do that in a positive way is Wyoming, and either last year or 2 years ago, they passed their Crypto Regulation Act, which made 13 different definitions of cryptocurrency that were quite friendly. That defined a digital asset and everything, and allowed banks to charter in Wyoming. So it's developing, but I it's it's funny because politics really interests me because I was in politics before I was in crypto. I entered in Congress. I thought I was gonna be a lawyer, but I got into startups instead. And so seeing kind of like what the where the regulation is going has always interested me.
There's something about Wyoming. They have they just held the independent national committee or convention.
Yeah.
Brock Pierce was there.
And Brock brought the Mayan warrior art card into the snow. I'm just like, that's so awesome. I wish I was there.
He just gave a really good speech. He posted it on his YouTube channel. It was like 15 minutes, but that guy's such a good speaker. I get pumped up every time I watch him.
Yeah, he really is.
I'm like, damn, we need this guy. Like, if people could actually see independents speak, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it would help our country.
Yeah, I mean, I wish, I really wish that was the case, but it's just not how our system is built, quote unquote.
For now.
So I kind of did want to ask a little bit more about DeFi.
Yeah.
And liquidity, and specifically, what do you think IQ? You think IQ would benefit in this stage of its development by being interconnected with all these DeFi protocols like Vigor and I know you mentioned the other one. I can't remember at the moment.
I think it was just Vigor, but we also got on Pizza Land too. Yeah, I think the more IQ is used in DeFi protocols, not just on EOS, but possibly on other chains as well in the future. I think it's beneficial to IQ and IQ holders and even the entire EOS ecosystem overall. It just makes sense. Like the more that people see value in IQ, that more people want to use it for different things, whether it's editing or using the prediction market or using these different DeFi protocols. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting concept. Honestly, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that we have so many different cryptocurrencies right now, and I think everybody. One of the things I've always seen is people are trying to compete for what is considered money. But in a weird way, I feel like they're all considered money, but they just are for the services that we use. You know what I mean? I feel like the way we're looking at money is a little different. If we send an email and that's a service we use, there's no reason that a currency can't be attached to that and then a separate currency for another service and so on.
Yeah, I kind of view each of these cryptocurrencies as kind of their own universes and their own communities. And, I feel like tokens have value because that's what people collectively say that it has value. It's a psychological imprint of the price is a psychological imprint of it. And so if a lot of people see value in something, it will reflect. But if a lot of people don't, and the thing is, crypto moves so fast that it's fickle. Sometimes something could be in today, out tomorrow. I mean, we saw that with Farm. They were on top of the world with $1 billion TVL just last week, and then this week, somebody found a economic exploit, quote unquote, in their system, and they got all they got a lot of USDC and USDT drained, and people lost money, and a lot of people upset, and their value went down 60-70%, and it's an entire mess. So it's in today, out tomorrow.
That's why I love the fact that you're just building from the ground up. That's the only way to do it.
That's why I love 2020 and the state of crypto in 2020 much more than 2017, because 2017 was it was the time for marketers and the time for hype. You didn't have to build a product. It was more just, you have a fancy white paper, you have a good looking website, boom, here's millions of dollars. But now we see, the actual tokens get developed first, and then, people get to see oh, is this actually worth something? Oh, can this actually attach a community? And how Everipedia kind of plays into this is we've been, we were forged in the bear market, so we've been building for the past few years. And so once everything started getting hot again in the summer, we already laid the groundwork
Right.
Whether it's with Everipedia, Predict, or with our Oracle product.
Yeah, I still have my tokens from the original airdrop back in the day.
Yeah, amen. So do I.
I feel like I don't know if I could be wrong, but this is my vision. I think like every platform on Web 3.0 is gonna have a crypto built in essentially, and I feel like if I go on Everipedia, I earn some IQ, then I swap for Bitcoin, and I go to the store and I spend my Bitcoin for like groceries, for example. I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of how I envision it. Maybe it could be a stable coin too, and I feel like everything on the internet is just gonna have a currency built in, and then around those is gonna be like Bitcoin or like who knows what.
Yeah, that's why I see AMMs just being kind of a huge foundation of the future. Just because, like you said, like what would be the easiest way to do that? It's like, oh, through DeFi box, just swap on DeFi box, like your IQ for maybe like some stable coin, and then go to the store and buy something you want.
Right.
So I see it like and I wonder if there would be like cross chain AMMs. That would be really cool to see. And even if you even get beyond crypto, what else could AMMs just, swap values? So you can apply AMMs to anything, maybe like credit card miles, flight miles, credit card points, all different kinds of things I see AMMs being used for.
Yeah, for sure. Exciting times though.
I feel like crypto overall has just kind of been breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, and then just having to understand each one individually, and then eventually they're supposed to connect. It's just one big puzzle, and everybody's holding a piece to it. So I appreciate you coming on the show and talking with us.
Oh, that's why I'm here. My favorite thing to do is demystify the space to people. So I try to find the words to do it. I try my best.
Yeah, that's why I make these videos. I mean, I'm an EOS token holder, and I just feel like I need to contribute value. That's all what it comes down to, honestly.
Yeah, same here.
I don't know.
One thing I did want to ask you, now that I remember, do you guys consider yourself a competitor to maybe Augur? Because I was familiar with Augur on Ethereum.
Yeah, I know. This actually goes back to what you're saying about like competition versus cooperation. I kind of view us as a supplement to Augur, and I would love to see one day if we could have like cross platform order books, so we could like share order books and share liquidity. So maybe I wouldn't really consider ourselves competitors. I can more consider ourselves maybe possible future partners, ideally.
So we are running out of time now. Everipedia.org. Is that the website people can find you at? Everipedia.org?
Website's Everipedia.org. Also, Predict is at predict.everipedia.org. You can follow us on Twitter at Everipedia. You could, join our Telegram at Everipedia or Predict. Telegram at Predict. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at Dave Said That. On Instagram at Dave Doing Things.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.